How much longer is she gonna chase Bill?
I think that's gonna be something that's ongoing. Like I think she's gonna chase Bill forever. I think they're always gonna have a presence in each other's lives, and I promise you they're going to get back together. Let's just say they fell in love. Let's say they're twin boys and they fell in love.
Okay.
Did y'all have to move into the gated community that's literally ran by the Dupree family and then confused of why the Duprees are like, I don't like Andre. I don't like guys like him, like pretty boys like him, that smooth talking and that like flirt with every woman that comes around and like just stirs up messy shit. Like he seems like that type of person to me.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back here over at 6H Production. Brian H. Waters. I'm joined by my better half, the one, the only, lovely Miss Queen PR. Now, we're a month in, so it's time to talk about them gates, shorty.
Beyond them gates.
Beyond the Gates, black soap opera. It's very fun. Now, I am the soap opera person of this relationship. You know, I've been delving into Young and the Restless since January 2014.
Wow.
2015, I started a little bit of Bold and the Beautiful. Kind of fell off around 18 somewhere. I think I'm about to get back into it. But a year ago, well, no, about 4 or 5 months ago, when they announced that they were doing Beyond the Gates, and it was coming to CBS, I remember I said to you, yo, they got a black soap opera. And you was on board to watch. And I'm happy. So far, let me ask you this first. Do you have any, I gave my backstory on soap operas. Do you have any backstory on soap operas?
Yes. My grandmother and my godmother were like religious soap opera watchers.
Your godmother.
You did meet my godmother.
That's awesome.
Shout out to her. And so that was like, if I was at their house, I knew like there were a few hours of the day where we were watching soap operas. And that was that. I know my grandmother would have to be home in time for her stories.
Yeah.
That was a thing. My grandmother, when VHS became a thing where you can like record things, like that was like her thing. She recorded every soap opera episode, and so that one was on, one was taping, she would watch it, blah blah blah. So I would just remember just having cassette tapes with like dates of different soap operas, and then she would like retape over, or whatever. So it was like a big thing.
Did she go back and watch them, or like after she watched it once?
No.
Okay.
It was more just to be able to keep up with every single show.
She probably had the timer set on the VCR.
Yes,
I don't know if you remember. You could do that.
Remember that. I remember it would be times where it's so funny, like unlocking memories. My dad would leave like a note, like, "Please set a tape for this time," or something like that. Like, wow, these kids would never know.
Did you ever do that? I gotta ask you this real quick.
Like tape things?
Like have a reoccurring time.
Probably.
Okay, you
but
know
like
mine.
Very, very
SmackDown.
Young.
When SmackDown with the European, I had the VCR connected. Now, if it was connected a certain way, it had to be on channel 3, or if it was the antenna was connected into the VCR. The worst things that would happen is if you left another tape in, and you accidentally recorded over something,
or it was so many rooms for error back then when it came to these things. But yeah, that was my history with soap operas. There's certain actors and actresses that I look at them and I'm like, oh my God, the nostalgia is there. And there's still some like soap opera characters, like remember they went through this whole thing where all the soap operas were getting canceled at one point.
Yeah.
And I remember certain characters, I'm like, wow, they still on there? Like, wow, could you get hooked?
Yeah.
So they're like very nostalgic. I thought it was adorable when I found out that you watched Young and the Restless religiously. I was like, oh, that's so cute.
It was one story, and it, like I was telling you earlier, like it.
But you're like a lifelong wrestling fan, right? So it makes sense. Like it really makes sense.
I'm glad you made that connection because a lot of people couldn't understand it. Like when I was at ESPN and I would tell people like I watch soap operas, and I found like there was a couple people, like a couple editors, because believe it or not, a lot of editors at ESPN didn't watch sports. They were just really good at identifying good video and cutting and pasting, but a lot of them you had to say that's Scottie Pippen, like who's Scottie Pippen? No, number 33 for the Bulls. But they were soap opera fans, and they said they, but like you said, I'm glad you understood.
So I was excited when they announced the new one because one, I'm like always wanting to watch new television shows. I love that it was a black soap opera, and then it was something that we can watch together from day one and like, you know, go from there. So I was hoping I liked it. And I gotta say, a month in, I love it.
All right, so we're not gonna go episode by episode. We're just gonna, you know, talk about some of the quick things since we're a month in. I have to ask you, who's your favorite character?
I don't have a favorite character.
Okay.
It's been changing. But if I would say a character that I'm rooting for, even though like she gets on my nerves and she's so crazy, is Dani, of course. Like Dani Dupree. I love, like, first of all, them fits.
Yes.
I'll put up a lot with a character if I like her outfit.
Yeah, I know.
But I want her to like get over Bill, her ex-husband. I want her to find fulfillment in her own life. But yeah, so far I think she might be my favorite. She's
mine as well for that reason. Too. She is, and I'm rooting for her. You know, shout out to Kara Mosley. You know, I mentioned she was on Bold and Beautiful. She had a storyline that had me hooked. But I want to ask you this. How much longer is she gonna chase Bill?
I think that's gonna be something that's ongoing. Like I think she's gonna chase Bill forever. I think they're always gonna have a presence in each other's lives, and I promise you, they're going to get back together. As a family. Even in soap opera land, if it's 5 years from now, if it's next week, like they're gonna get back together.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this. My prediction. I think she's gonna chase him for about the next couple months. For some reason, I see her like kind of getting attached to Andre as
the nephew.
I think her name is Ashley.
The white girl?
Yeah. Gets into Andre. When Ashley finally gets into Andre, that's when she'll get into it.
And then there we go right there. What I do like, and I had to get used to, because I am a connoisseur of good television series. So for me, I did have to adjust to the pacing of soap operas.
Yeah.
Like it is extremely dramatic. There's going to be like wild twists and turns like every week. I'm like, okay, there's 5 episodes a week. I have to get used to that as well. The acting is a little different.
Yeah.
It's very clean, very easily digestible. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not very complicated. Like you know what I mean? Like it's very simple. And like at first I'm like, why do you? And I'm like, okay, like, all right, this is soap operas. Like and I joined a Facebook group. That's how I know I like the show, because I was like, I want to read about Bianca Gates and talk with other fans. So I joined a Facebook group. Shout out to
our homie Janelle from Jabba Tears.
She watches it too?
Yeah, she commented on my post.
Oh, nice.
About because I posted who everybody's watching. How do y'all feel about Bill? Or do you hate anybody more than Bill? And she was like, finally, somebody else is watching and posting about it. So you know we gotta get.
Okay, that's really family, good to know. That's really good to know, because I want to talk about it with everybody. I love, and the reason why I said like getting used to soap operas, because there are a lot of characters. There's a lot of different storylines, and like one week they might not mention this character at all, and then like the next week, you know, they're heavily featured. But I like that about it, because it also builds like the world, like the universe of the gated community that they live in. Yeah,
I was happy they gave them an hour, because Bold and the Beautiful moves so quickly, and that's the only like
it's a half an hour.
Yeah, that's a half an hour. Where I'm like, so you imagine you go from an hour of Young and the Restless, and then the Bold and the Beautiful is like a half an hour. So now the crazy thing is, if I get back into Bold and Beautiful, thankfully, I don't watch Beyond the Gates. I watch it when you're available to watch, because I don't want to watch it by myself, obviously. But it's like, wow, that would really block out 2.5 hours from 12:30 p.m. Eastern time to 3 o'clock Eastern time. You know, which, I mean, I'm not going to say I don't want to watch it live, but...
So I'll say my soap opera etiquette. I like to, because of the world that we live in, I tape it on YouTube TV, and I like to watch more than one episode at a time. Yeah, you know, that's just personal. But then there are days where I'm working from home where I'm like, oh my God, let's watch Beyond the Gates live, which is a fun experience as well. I also like to fast forward commercials. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And it's always, like you said, it's good. Like if we watching, like we're binge watching right now, Dexter. And then also Ballers, but it's like I don't want to watch that. Oh, we got a couple of them Gates.
It's a great thing. The first week of having it preempted by college basketball, which was like,
what are you doing?
But learning that that's a part of the soap opera
the first,
experience. But I'm really enjoying it. I like where the storylines are going. I think we already have a recasting.
Oh, we won't get there.
Okay.
You jumping the shark.
Sorry.
It's cool.
Just doing an overview of my thoughts. I love the different dynamics. They have like mother-daughter, best friends, different types of relationships and different professions and stuff like that. I also like you have the Dupree family, which is like, royalty in that community.
Shout out to whoever made that family tree too.
Yeah, that family tree is really, really informative.
It's very,
I still gotta I'm learning everyone's names slowly but surely. Yeah, this is like good shit. And then you also have people that live outside of the gated community, and I love those scenes where people that live in the town are gossiping about the Dupree family. I think that's like so realistic, but it's like the have-nots. Like it's the ones that work in the service industry and like, then you have the employees at Nicole's hospital. So then you have the hospital employees, and there's a good mix of different types of people in different classes. And of course you have the evil, people that want to destroy the Dupree family. You have that aspect of things. We had a shootout in like the first week.
Well, I want to go there. Let's
go there.
Let's talk about Hayley, right? So, I'm kind of starting to feel bad for her.
That's the young wife.
Yeah, the young wife. I think Bill's manipulating her, and
she seems to be starting to get her backbone, because she's even threatened on like, I don't think this is gonna work.
But I'm also thinking she's starting to have like a light bulb click off too. Like, how do you feel about her, and how long do you see this realistically lasting?
I see, as I've gotten older, and we've talked about this when it comes to like love triangles and like being married for a long time, like I don't think it is a crime for Bill and Dani to have grown apart after a certain while in their marriage, right? Or him telling Hayley like, you brought me back to life. Dani drained the life out of me, and you brought me back to life. That is that can happen. Like that's reality. Like sometimes, unfortunately, when it comes to relationships. My thing with them is like, you couldn't fall in love with any other fucking woman. Like you had to fall in love with your daughter's childhood friend that used to come over to the house.
That's
and
creepy.
That's the thing that is. And then, okay, boom, whatever. Let's just say they fell in love. Let's say they're twin flames and they fell in love.
Okay.
Did y'all have to move into the gated community that's literally ran by the Dupree family, and then confused of why the Duprees are like her being confused of why she wasn't treated right at the country club that is literally, maybe not literally owned by the Dupree family, but like metaphorically, this community is Dupree land. And then for you to be confused of why you wasn't treated right, like make it make sense. That's my thing. So that's why I feel like it's not gonna work out. Like if y'all would have lived in an, mind you, you're rich, you could live anywhere. That's the confusing thing. Why I feel like Bill doesn't want to completely let go of Dani and all of them, because like why?
Yeah, and then like I said, you hit it right on the head. I think about with him, like he likes having Dani chase him. That egotistical. I'm like, oh man, you want them dudes that mess it up for everybody else.
1000%.
But I feel like she gonna smarten up and take him to the cleanest.
I could so see that, and then her staying in that community because she could afford to. Now she's like on that level, and who knows? Like, what if she's the one manipulating him?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know me when it comes to women in those positions. Like, don't always think when it comes to sex that men are the ones that hold the power in those situations. Like, women also hold a lot of power in those situations.
That could be a flip.
Don't put it past her. She could be playing that role perfectly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And who knows? She could be the one having her own fucking motives.
Yeah. You talked about the recasting. Ted Richardson, he will be recasted. How you think that's going to go down? Like,
see, I am new to this world. You said that this happens regularly.
Yeah.
I was not used to that. I get very attached to my actors, and then because of the type of TV I'm used to watching, like you couldn't dare do that. Like I just finished binging Breaking Bad, which is regarded as one of the best television shows of all time. We will watch it. It is a fucking masterpiece. And it's very character driven. And you couldn't like midway through be like, Walter White is now being recasted as such and such, and it's just like, all right,
They're
well,
two
you know what I'm saying?
Young and the Restless castmates. I'm still upset about when they recasted Summer Newman, and when they recasted Adam Newman. You know, Summer being Victor's granddaughter, she had been this person who had been the same person all these years. And I'm now getting used to the new Summer. And it's like, okay, she's doing a good job. But I can't help think about the other one. And then, like, you know, so this one I'm kind of, if it was going to happen, I guess I'm glad to see it happen early.
That's true. I got so, it's almost like this is the OG cast. Like, I wanted all of us to come up together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you said it's like that happens in soap operas. So I'm like, okay, well, now I'm hoping no one else gets fucking recasted. And what sucks too with the actor that played Ted Richardson is that he was one of the most active cast members on social media, engaging with the fans. So it has to suck for him, obviously being dedicated to the show and then being like, okay, well, next. And he's getting casted by more well-known actor,
Keith D. Robinson. So it's kind of like,
yeah, he's
but
nice to look at.
Couldn't have found no one else on the show. Like, he couldn't have been. So let's get into this story, right?
So have they ever brought back an actor they've replaced?
Yeah. So when I started watching Young and the Restless, there was a different person who played Phyllis. Phyllis being Jack Abbott, his like back and forth wife, Summer's mother. There was one lady who played her for years. Then the one person who was playing her when I started watching was playing. Then they recasted her back to the older lady. And by the time I didn't know who this person is, but then like my mother and shout out to my friend Sharnita I used to work with, they was like, oh, she's a legend. And I was like, oh, really? I think her name was Gina something. Pardon me. But they was like, yeah, she's a legend. This, that. And I was like, okay. But this is like certain people it's weird because it's like you would never recast Victor Newman. It's always going to be Eric Braeden. You would never recast Jack Abbott. But these people have been on this show for years. Nick Newman, Sharon. So it's possible this guy could come back. But I want to talk about that story. Will this end the marriage? So the story with Ted Richardson is he has a daughter that he either doesn't know or hasn't claimed in Eva, and his ex-fling is slowly but surely
crazy.
She being crazy. She's changing her wigs. she's like posing as a person who works for an event like the wife celebration. When they find out, because it's kind of getting closer, because Eva's like, she's sent in by the mother to kind of like go snatch the heart, but then she's kind of getting attached. The daughter's already seeing bullshit. But my question to you, will that end their marriage?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I really don't. I don't. And I think in spite of the crazy mom, I think is going to be the reverse, where I really feel like eventually they're just going to welcome Eva into the family. Because Eva is to them a nice girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's a nice girl. They're not suspicious of her. Nicole loves her. She's super helpful. And I think Eva's realizing like, these are really nice people. Like, this is a really good family. Yeah. And I can see them in spite of her mom, because she's now turning against her mom. She's lying to her mom to protect the Dupree family. Because she knows like, this, like, Nicole Dupree does not deserve, or Richardson does not deserve that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, I get it. Like, so I think she's going to turn on her mom, and the mom is going to just be out to be this crazy person, and the Dupree family are going to welcome her in. And I really feel that way. I don't know if the daughters, I think they're always going to have tension, but it's going to be like one of those things. Like, I think about it where, because soap operas are on for so long, and for like, there's 5 episodes per week. That's going to be one of those things where 2 years from now, it's going to be like, Eva's, like, let's say someone watches Beyond the Gates for the first time. Eva's going to be in the Dupree family. And then I'll be like, oh, she wasn't always her mom did that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think that's how that storyline is going to go, the direction that's going to go into.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you hit it right on the head.
And I feel bad. We talk about this all the time. Like, Eva growing up with her mom constantly bashing her father and basically saying, like, our life sucks because of him. And I'm like, why would you want to raise your child thinking that way? Like, they were less than, or our life sucks as a family because, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would raise my daughter like, fuck him. You know, you were bad at, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I just think that's weird. So I want better for Eva. So that's why I think I want the storyline to go in that direction.
I'm with it. Before we get out of here, I gotta talk about your favorite characters. Ashley and Dereck and Andre. I think we all know what's coming.
I do feel like
not a matter of if.
Ashley,
it's a matter of when, yes.
I do feel like Ashley's feeling the kid. Definitely. And I think she's trying to fight it. I personally don't like Dereck. I mean, Andre? I like Dereck. I think he's adorable. The fireman, I think he's adorable. I don't like Andre. I feel like he's one of those fuck boys that's always flirting with women and like stirring things up and being like confused.
And we saw that kind of like episode like 1, 2, and 3 when you know I got tired of hearing about that damn
them delivering that baby. And I was like, yo, if y'all bring that shit out one more time, like nobody cares anymore. That baby like 1 year old now. No, I'm just kidding.
Baby walking, talking.
Right. But I really hope she doesn't cheat on her boyfriend. I don't like Andre. I don't like guys like him, like pretty boys like him, that smooth talking and that like flirt with every woman that comes around and like just stirs up messy shit. Like, he seems like that type of person to me. Like, he was even like kind of flirting with Eva at one point. You know, he's one of those guys and I don't like it. And I think all the women that he's involved with right now, Ashley, Dani, deserve better. I do like what he has with Dani as far as Dani having someone you know, to go to and support when she's, you know, lonely. And he, you know, he's family, so he does care about Dani. I'm also curious of like when that comes out, because that's her sister's little nephew, like by marriage. But still, like, how's the family gonna react when they like, wait, you dating the little nut, like little Andre? Like, y'all be fucking? Oh, okay, all right,
yeah. You know, because I was like rooting for that. Like, y'all keep doing y'all keep having fun. Leave the girl alone. But he keeps insisting, and you know, and then it don't help that the mother kind of looking at like, well, you know, maybe
like he is cute.
Yeah, your boyfriend kind of dry, so
it's funny. Like, he's a firefighter and he's still dry.
Yeah,
I just think he deserves better, but he sees it too. Like, I would be okay with him to be like to dump Ashley, like, then go with that nigga then. Well, don't say that, Dereck. Don't say that. But that's how I'm thinking it. But don't say it.
That's funny. I'm sorry. That's funny. So overall, how many times have you recommended the show?
To everyone.
Okay.
Because when it was first announced, a lot of people were excited, even ones that don't watch soap operas, because they know what a institution a soap opera could be. So if there's an all black cast that's doing it, like, let's fucking do it, and it's new. Yeah. Because soap operas kind of died. Yeah. Like 10 years ago, I remember like all of my grandmother's shows were getting canceled, and I was like, oh, like reality TV, social media. It wasn't like people weren't home during the day glued to soap operas like they were in the past. Right. So it's nice. It's like a new era. And let it be a black, you know, show to do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's
also in that group, like everyone likes the show. You know, like not just black people. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, like I was looking, it's like multiple groups with like 5 digits. So I've seen, you know, a couple people, you know, criticize the acting. You know me, I don't really criticize acting. I can't.
It's soap opera acting, but it's hard to, because even, you know, me at first I was just like, oh, I'm gonna have to get used to it. But then, to, like, but shift that's gears. Exactly, like that's what this is meant. It's supposed to be something where anyone can turn on an episode on a day and get it. Yeah, that's the point of a soap opera. So yes, it's simple, like, you know. But I do enjoy it.
And you see that Friday cliffhanger, they always get us and be like,
Yes, and I remember watching soap operas as a kid where like one day I'll be playing and not paying attention, but there would be sometimes a storyline that would catch me and I'm like, oh shoot. I don't know what show it is, but it was one storyline that I was so into as a kid at my grandmother's house, and it was this, and she's a main character. Like if I showed you her photo, like you know who I'm talking about. Like she's been on the show for years. And she got into a car accident, and then her face was bandaged up, and like she got amnesia, like the typical amnesia. Then an evil twin popped up. Like I remember being so locked in, but it didn't matter. Like if I had been watching it for 5 years, like you tune in and you're like, okay, I'm into it. You know?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I'm excited for the show. I'm rooting for it.
Yeah, me too. Wow. Y'all let us know in the comments what you think about the show. Who's your favorite characters? What are you looking forward to the most? And what else, any questions you have for us regarding the show? Maybe there's some things out there that you're trying to figure out and we ain't addressed. Let us know. Because there's still a lot of characters. Then, we'll be doing some updates and giving our thoughts and opinions. But, it's 1 month in. Gave it enough time to breathe.
How about we do it on the 100th episode?
I'm down.
If there is, because that'll be quickish.
Yeah, well, I didn't think about that. You're right.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's been on a month, 20 something.
Yeah.
Okay.
100th episode. We'll check in.
All right. Well, and I'm pretty sure if something big happens, we'll rope it into our
the recasting. Hope not.
Yeah, hope
I'm
not.
attached. Don't do it to me.
Yeah. But we appreciate y'all coming through. You want to let people know where they can find you?
You can find me at Queen3_PR on all social media platforms, and make sure you follow my women's wrestling podcast, Those Wrestling Girls, brought to you by Revolt Podcast Network. And new episodes every week.
You can find me at Brian H. Wars on all social media platforms. Make sure you check out the Ring of Wrestling show. Check out Ring of Wrestling Worldwide each and every Tuesday. Also, catch me on the Wrestling Realm Now podcast each and every Wednesday night, 10:30-ish. Until the next time, folks, we will see you next week.